So the reception of this Warbond has been mixed. It seems literally 50-50. Like half the people are saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and half the other people are saying it is the worst Warbond yet. But there is actually a reason for this, and it is due to a bug that still exists in the game, basically from launch. And I will also be giving you the stat breakdowns and the real effects of the items in this Warbond, because I've had a lot of people coming into my streams when I'm playing with these weapons and just claiming weird stats in my live chats. So basically, what is going on with this Warbond and what is nobody really talking about right now? First of all, almost every item in this Warbond is affected by a bug, and that bug is that all stun effects build up faster in squads compared to solo, and also the damage for the grenade launcher is about double in squads compared to solo. Now, this double damage might only apply to the bigger enemies like Bile Titans and Factory Striders, tanks, maybe even Chargers or Hulks sometimes, but it is definitely affecting the damage compared to the bigger enemies in squads versus solo. So with that being said, let's first cover the Pacifier. It has a pitiful 50 damage, and it has flavor text saying it is basically non-lethal. It feels horrible to shoot at all chaff enemies, such as just warriors, hunters, scavengers. It can't even one-shot a scavenger to the body. Now, on the other hand, it is good against like hive guards, and it is pretty decent against overseers when you're landing your headshots. But this gun is benefiting from a bug in squads that makes its stun buildup much stronger. So in solo, the stun buildup is as pitiful as the damage, but in squads, it is stunning every single mob in 2 shots and larger enemies like Chargers and Hulks extremely quickly. And then in solo, it's stunning like Alpha Commanders in 5 shots compared to only 2 in squads. Here we go. He's not stunned. Oh, would you look at that? He's not stunned. Oh, would you look at that? He's not stunned. So it takes about 5, and also same for Predator Stalkers. It can take a lot of shots. He's not stunned. He's not stunned. And now I'm gonna die. I live. Okay, so watch. So this Alpha Commander gets stunned, right? 1 burst stuns it. See that? Now, I'll also just play a clip in the background with Overseer solo, because it takes about 2 bursts before you can even stun them. And then I will maybe play a clip of Devastators. It depends how long I'm yapping. Now, just so you guys know, this Warbond in particular is not bugged. This solo versus squad bug, I kind of discovered last patch or the patch before. And it affects way more items than just this Warbond. It affects all stun weapon and items. Like, for example, the Stun Lance can 1-tap stun a Charger in squads, but it takes 3 swings of the Stun Lance solo. And it also affects the damage of weapons and items in the game, like the Pyrotech grenade. When I made a video on that grenade, I literally showed you guys it was killing Factory Striders in the foot with 2 throws, but in solo games, it took way more than that. Okay, so back to the Pacifier. In my opinion, this is like literally the worst primary weapon I've played with, or at least in the game right now. Flat out, if you are playing this gun on bugs, even in squads where the stun buildup is good, it feels horrible in my opinion. Just literally switch to the Pummeler right now and thank me later. It takes 4 headshots to kill a warrior, one of the smallest enemies in the game. And if hunters are jumping at you and you miss the headshot, it can spend about 5 to 6 rounds killing one. For example, if you hit the arm of a hunter, it cannot one-shot the arm of a hunter. It'll take 2 bullets to shoot the arm off before you're getting bullets on the body, and it takes 4 shots to kill a hunter in the body. But flat out, this gun has the same damage and breakpoints that the guns used to have during Escalation of Freedom. And again, before you go in the comments and tell me the damage is fine, if you're using this weapon against bugs right now, I want you to swap to the Pummeler first and use that gun, because the Pummeler is also benefiting from the stun bug in squad missions. The Pummeler 2 stuns enemies, but guess what? It has infinitely better breakpoints, like almost like kills enemies twice as quickly compared to this weapon because of the breakpoints and the damage. It doesn't matter, it only has 15 more damage. It meets several breakpoints from 50 compared to 65. Also, the pummeler can get a drum mag on it if you upgrade it high enough, so there is that to look forwards to as well. Now, on top of all this, the Pacifier also just has a bugged reload speed, where the reload of this weapon is supposed to be 2.8 seconds, at least compared to the wiki, but it takes 3.5 seconds because your Helldiver just decides to pause and scratch his butt, take a little breather before raising it back up to shoot. And I'm probably playing that clip in the background right now. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. So for solo play, the Pacifier will literally feel like the worst gun in the game, but even in squads, like, I really honestly just think this is a C tier weapon at best, given how poorly it deals with the mobs. Okay, so now for the grenade launcher. It is worth noting that the grenade launcher also builds up stun, so it technically does do that better in squads compared to solo, but it does build up stun pretty fast solo, so this is less relevant. But notably, the grenade launcher has bugged damage in squads compared to solo. So let's go ahead and play the Bile Titan clips. Stun this motherfucker. So 6 shots so far. Keep in mind this is solo. Oh yeah, the Urchin doesn't stun Bile Titans. I forgot about that, huh? "12 shots. About 18 shots solo. Okay, that's 6 so far. So in solo, it took 18 shots, but even when I only had a duo in my game, it took half of that at 9 shots. It is almost basically getting double the damage. Now, also, there might be a little bit of RNG involved just because of where the arcs can go, but I have tested this multiple times solo, and you guys have been melting Bile Titans with this weapon in squads, so, like, you know what I'm talking about. Now, let's just get the stats of this gun out of the way, because for some reason, a lot of people in my chat, when I was streaming this earlier, was telling me that the grenade launcher was AP6 or AP7 like the arc thrower, but I am here to tell you it is only AP4, which is heavy armor pen, similar to the HMG or the autocannon. It's basically in the middle ground between the blitzer and the arc thrower. Now, I went ahead and pulled up the wiki. I can see that maybe this is where people were saying it was AP6, because it technically has an explosion, which says it is anti-tank 2, AP6, but this explosion does 0 damage. So this gun doesn't actually have any explosive damage, and it doesn't actually do AP6, even though that technically is on the explosion. What this gun does is it shoots 10 arcs, which can also arc to other enemies, and it does 55 damage and 55 durable damage at AP4. So this gun always does 10 arcs of 55 damage. That's basically 550 damage per grenade, but you will probably notice that not all arcs are going to hit. However, this launcher does arc between enemies as well. So it's probably always doing roughly 550 damage if you're counting the enemies it's arcing to while mobbing. But you know, that would make me recommend you not really use this grenade launcher in single target situations if you can help it. Of course, like, it can work for that if it's your only option, so go for it if you need to, but it is going to do better in mobbing situations compared to single target. So in my opinion, from playing with the De-Escalator, it is almost a strict downgrade to the grenade launcher in my opinion. I honestly don't even really want to compare the two weapons, because the grenade launcher is one of the best support weapons in the game, and the De-Escalator just is not. And when you have a ton of the community playing in squads, saying it's just, you know, the best thing since sliced bread, and then you watched Takibo's video yesterday, who is a solo player, and his opinion was he thought it is literally the worst support weapon in the game. The reasons in this video is why you're seeing those two wildly different opinions. Now, also with the De-Escalator, it has the slowest reload in the game by far, at what feels like 8 seconds for a full reload, but also almost 2 seconds just to load a single shot into this weapon. Like, even if you're loading a single shot into this weapon and then shooting it again, if it takes almost 2 seconds. And again, there is a reason for that. It has a broken reload animation, just like the Pacifier, where after you empty the shells, you constantly re-empty them every time you restart the reload. It's almost like one of the reload, like one of the stages of the reload is not working correctly and it's constantly doing it. So I empty it, right? Why am I emptying it again? That's what I don't like about this reload. Because then you have to do that every time. And also a big goofy speed loader would be cool. Now, for me personally, I would give the De-Escalator a drastically faster reload speed, possibly by adding a speed loader, which they actually do make in real life for the real Milkor grenade launcher that this is based off of. I think I would probably just be happy with a faster reload, to be honest with you. I don't think it's one of the worst support weapons in the game, like Takibo said, you know, and that's his thoughts, respect to his opinion. For me personally, it's like a B or C tier, and if it could reload quicker and get back in the game a lot quicker, it would probably be much better in my opinion. So now we are just gonna quickly talk about the Arc Dog. In my opinion, I do think the Arc Dog is probably the worst of the dogs, but I don't think it's bad. I do like the fact it can stun Hulks and Chargers, and even though I'm calling it the worst guard dog, I do think it's actually kind of decent. And I would bring this guard dog again in my future games because I do like it for the crowd control. But again, stun buildup is bugged in solo. It cannot stun Hulks or Chargers solo because it takes 2 shots to do so. But I will be bringing this guard dog again while in squads and while it is bugged to just be able to stun them in 1 shot in squads. Okay, so now on to the armor sets, which again, I have seen a lot of people saying this is a good armor set because it has chest resistance and explosive resistance, but I have not seen any like actual reasons or people showing the stats for why this is a good defensive armor set. I have just seen people, again, in my chat during my live streams, just coming in and saying this. So here is the basic armor stats. Now, this is, I just showed the head and the chest. We'll show the full stats later, but I highlighted the light set chest resistance, the medium set chest resistance, and the heavy set chest resistance. So this armor set basically gives you 25% damage resistance. So all we do is we take the light chest resistance and multiply that by 0.75, and that gives us 93% chest resistance. Now you'll notice it's basically upgrading the light chest nearly to the medium chest. And if we, like at 93%, it's very comparable to medium chest resistance armor. Jesus, I've said resistance like 50 times. All right, so let's do the medium set, which is 100%, and multiply this by 0.75. It's obviously gonna be 75, and it upgrades the medium to heavy. Now you'll notice we get diminishing returns because we take more damage. So we're actually getting more of a bonus when we take more damage. And then let's take the heavy resistance and multiply that by 0.75. And basically this means our chest only takes 56% damage compared to the heavy padded's 65%. We actually got quite a good bonus here as well. We actually take less than heavy padded compared to heavy regular. Now, you'll basically notice that this is almost just padded armor, but only for your chest. So like for example, let's take a look at the headshot damage we take. In 50 armor rating, we take 150% headshot damage. In 100 armor rating, we take 150% headshot damage. And if I just quickly flash my thumbnail for my armor tier list, you might recognize the armor set on this thumbnail, which is the 129 armor rating, which is the Enforcer with 50% explosive resistance. And why do I call the 129 the best armor in the game? Maybe it's not technically the best, but it is one of the best options, like hands down. And that is because you'll see when we go from 100 to 129, that's when we start taking less headshot damage. And also the buff to unflinching, which now has 125 armor rating, has been pretty great. I rated it highly in my patch notes review, and I've been wearing it more since then, and I'm just liking the unflinching even more since then because it feels tankier. And why does it feel tankier? Because we take less headshot damage. So that's like my first kind of anecdotal reason for why I'm not the biggest fan of the chest resistance. My second anecdotal reason is when they made it so our limbs break easier in the 60-day plan. A lot of people have been complaining that you know, even a scavenger can break your arm when it hits you once, or it can break your leg when it hits you once. So like, you just have to think about it. Like, if we're getting hit in the head so often that I always wear 129, or now I'm gonna wear unflinching a lot because it's 125, or I like to wear medium padded for the same reason, it gives me less headshot damage. And then like, our limbs are breaking very often. Like, how often do we really get hit in the chest? Probably only about 20 to 25% of the time. Now, I also made this stats page. This was for effective health. Now, you'll see on the right here, we have effective health for all of these armor sets, and I went ahead and basically just calculated the effective health with the new armor set. So light armor has about 100 effective health. The light Force of Law armor set has about 113. But keep in mind, you're only getting that bonus if you get hit in the chest. But you also get 25% explosive resist. And then we go from medium armor, which is 125 effective health. The medium Force of Law is about 136 with the explosive resist. And then in heavy armor, we go from 166 effective health to 181 with the 25 explosive resist. And you can see in each case, basically just a padded armor set will give you more effective health. So for example, light padded would just be equal to a medium armor set. So 125 compared to 113. Heavy padded is 192 compared to 181. And then again, even though it might only seem like, oh, we only have 12 more effective health compared to the set below it. But again, how often are you getting hit in the chest? Because this effective health only applies to the chest. So in general, if you want to be defensive, do not wear the light armor set. Do not wear the medium armor set. If you're using a defensive passive, you want to be defensive. Your best bet is to use the heavy armor set, which is technically in the superstore. So in summary, the weapons and the backpacks have bugs benefiting them in squads. And if they ever fix this bug, all of these items need to be buffed, because when all of the solo players are saying they're bad, and all of the squads players are saying they're good, and they are all bugged when you're in squads lobbies, what does that tell you? It tells you that if this bug ever ends up getting fixed, we need buffs for these weapons. And in the assault rifles case, it just needs to be buffed anyway. Again, like, you know, don't complain in my comment section about me saying the assault rifle's bad until you go try the pummeler on the bugs. It will feel significantly better compared to the rifle. You can actually kill warriors. You can actually kill hunters. You can actually kill predator stalkers way better with the pummeler compared to the new assault rifle. Like, I see a lot of people talking up this rifle just because it has medium pen, but even in squads where it is stunning things properly, I just personally, it does not feel good to me at all. I do not understand why people are saying this low damage is good. So after you try a pummeler game, then please, after that, come and try and defend this gun in my comment section, and I will probably still call you a difficulty 5 player. See you guys next time. I'm out.